Okay, let's see. It says that, and I'm only assuming that.
It said got it.
Okay,
Got it. You got it. I got it. All of y'all got it. And you're it. Exactly. Y'all got it now. Welcome, everybody. So good to see y'all as I get over here onto the other screen. But it's true. It's true. Y'all are it. So welcome. And let me hit one more button. And so there we go. And so speak in favor over all of y'all. Nothing missing, nothing broken. We are prospering, and happy birthday or anniversary. I guess it's happy. I don't know. I guess there could be the antithesis of it and says, well, then why don't we celebrate our death day, which is really our birthday? Anyway, I digress. So welcome, everyone. So good to see you. I see the chat room is full, and I have the distinct pleasure and honor, I'll put that in there as well, of having two of the most beautiful Soul Tribe members I know of. All of us are, but you know what I mean. Trina, who is my lovely co-host and who I actually saw last week, and Kaz from all the way over on the other side of the pond.
Hi, everyone.
How are you, my dear? So good to see you.
I'm great. I'm just glad you're back, both of you. Good to have you back.
Yeah. Like, I have no emotional response to that, but anyway. It's so good to see you, Kaz. I have missed you, and I know that we missed hooking up. Trina, what was that, 5 weeks ago? Yeah. Geez, time does fly. So we're back, and so welcome everyone in the chat room. David Berry, who's your neighbor, well, lives in the same general geographical
He's not
area.
Far.
Yeah,
a couple of hours away.
Yeah, and by the way, the dragonflies.
Yeah.
Did you get that? Dragonflies, but a dragonflies.
That's right.
That's all I got to say. Yeah. A House of Dragon, by the way, is an interesting series. Woof. Because not to digress, and we certainly weren't going to talk about this, but I guess we are. See, I believe that dragons still exist.
Absolutely.
Yeah. In fact, this is just a personal opinion, which is always subject to change. Hey, Go-Go, what's up? I believe the dragons are the watchers.
I think you might be right.
I do. I think they're the guardians.
Definitely watching me.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
I had a vision a few weeks ago about a dragon.
Oh,
and
really?
I really woke in the vision with my eyes closed, and my forehead was connected to something else's forehead, and I had my hands around the face, but the face was huge. So I had my hands on this face, and we were connected third eye to third eye. And when I opened my eyes, it was this beautiful orange dragon. Wow. She was beautiful. And I looked at her. I says, you're going to help us when the transition's here, right? And I said, she's like, yes. And I said, you're going to stay with us. And she says, I always have, and I always will. And I was like, okay. And I just felt so much better. And then literally David Berry sent me a TikTok video right after I told him about my dragon vision. And it was a psychologist who works with children. And this one child she works with, he was always playing with these little characters, and they were always in this big battle, and this war was happening. And I told David, I says, the dragons are going to help us. We're going to win, and they're going to help us activate our superpowers. And then the psychologist was watching the kid, and the battle changed. She's like, what's going on with your battle? And he was like, well, the bad guys have to leave now because there's too many superheroes on the planet now, and the dragons are going to help them. So bottom line, the war's over. The bad guys now have to leave because the dragons. I was like, ooh.
I love it.
This is awesome.
I grew up, Peter, Paul, and Mary, a trio, folk music, but they had a song out called Puff the Magic Dragon.
I remember.
And, the dragon took little Tommy to the place of never leave,
Yes.
Never leave. And so I just, and Kaz, they're all over you. That's all I got to say.
Big time.
Always.
I mean, I pity the poor fool who would ever mess with you. They're going to get their butts kicked, man.
Kaz, the dragon whisperer.
I am the dragon whisperer, that's right, yeah.
There's some truth to that.
I must see at least 1 or 2 a day in the sky, you know.
Yeah. Yesterday I was talking about the fact that light and us physically as beings are so limited. And I said, that there is a light in the universe that we can't see. And our perception is that light, brightness is good, which is exactly opposite. I mean, it's interesting. If you read the Bronze Book, it says that the people that were here before lived in a light of Saturn, and it was a golden light. Yep. And that this was the time of the dragons.
Yes.
Yeah. I think the dragons once populated this planet.
I wonder if we're entering into that cycle again, because this is Aquarius, which is air. And it's also Aquarius represents crown chakra, which is ether, which is the purples. And when you're dealing with the purples, you're dealing with red and blue collapsing into each other. So this is what creates violet. It's the power of the poles igniting. So this is red and blue makes purple, and red and blue, love, love, love. I've been like that little thing has gone in my head for years. When red and blue make purple, we will be love, love, love. So this is a huge transformation, and we can take it into love. And this transformation power, I do think it's full on dragon energy, which is coming from the serpent part of the system, which is connected directly to the power of the mother, the earth itself.
There's an HBO series on right now called House of Dragon. And it's interesting because the humans, there is a special blood race that actually have the dragon blood. Yeah. And they can command the dragons. They can, they know how to, work with them, etc. So it's interesting that is a thought that's permeating what I would call the collective consciousness. And are we channeling a message? I mean, if you read the Hobbit series, the time of man was foretold, millions of years ago. I think that we may be at the end of the time of man, which means that there's something else either coming back. If it's a cycle, I don't know.
I do too. I think that's spot on. I think it's time that I think the cycle ends and then a new cycle begins. And we're at the end of 3 cycles right now. That's huge. Yeah. And I do see, they've always shown me that we were going to turn into like these earth angels. And, angels they can fly. Dragons can fly. So what if this is a full activation of some of that? And, even Harry Potter was showing us about how he could talk to the snake. Remember?
Yeah.
So that's part of that same family, because serpent and dragon are same family. So
Cass, not to put you on the spot, but I'm going to because it's fun. But anyway, dragon, it's like, oh yeah. Dragons manifest. I mean, you were on, I don't know if it was earlier last year where you actually captured that dragon in the air.
The black.
Yeah.
That was just but I didn't know I'd captured it until I got home. Because that was at work, just like randomly taking a picture. I was actually taking a picture of something else, and then that came out.
I mean, folks, if you haven't seen that, go back and look in the archives. And I don't know, did you post it on your channel, Cass?
Yeah. Probably, yeah, I would have done. And I know you definitely have.
Fascinating. Yeah. I mean, I've looked at that as best that you can get the pixelization. And that is not,
I came across that the other day when I was going through stuff, and I was blown away by it again, because it's just the shape of it. It's got the tail and everything. Isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's very distinct.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you think about it, what we see in, Hollywood in the perception of what a dragon is, I often say that, but wait a minute, this goes way back. I mean, our species has been drawing these creatures for, I think, from the very beginning when we learned or comprehend that we could actually draw.
Yeah.
Because pictures are history. Go ahead, hon. Go ahead.
Sorry, Roger, mud fossils.
Yes,
He's
absolutely.
Showing more and more of these huge, absolutely huge ones.
Thousands of miles big.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's so funny. Sedona is such a sacred place.
Mm-hmm.
When you really look at what the famous icon they call Slide Rock, it looks like the throat of a dragon.
Interesting.
So I really do. I think when we slide down those rocks, we're sliding down a dragon's throat.
Wow.
Oh, that's a nice. Wow, that conjures all sorts of images, because
when I slipped in the middle of winter down backwards head first. Fun.
Well, and is it George or is it Paul at Mud Fossil? I forget. My apologies, but we actually spoke on the phone, and
Roger, Mud Fossil University.
Thank you. A fascinating gentleman. What's that, hon?
You spoke to him on the phone. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah. Been about, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. But it's interesting because we don't think about creatures today in this earth of being gargantuan and actually living. I mean, the modern elephant, giraffe, whales, that, particularly a sperm whale, blue whale. But I'm convinced that there is yet creatures that exist in the firmament, the air above us.
Yes.
I mean,
I've seen them, Wayne. Weird worms and snakes and stuff.
Yeah.
I've seen them.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that, because y'all didn't know this, because we didn't even talk about this. Hey, Ginger, how you doing? Good to see you, dear. Lauren, I love that name. It's but so I have a whole collection of what we call sky worms.
Yes.
And
wow.
You did a show on it, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Yes. Hello, Off the Hook. Good to see you. And Regina, good to see you as well. Purple Dawn. But anyway, I went through that because I didn't have any internet. So, you go through the litany of files, the archives, and I come across this and I went, holy crap. Good, Lauren. Good to hear that, hon. But they're everywhere and they're getting filmed more and more.
Mm-hmm.
I fully expect at some point someone's going to capture one of these creatures. And as we talked before we went live, I still believe that these are the watchers. I think these are the guardians that look over us.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
what I think, Wayne? I think I see them as the first expression in the material realms of fire. So they are the expression in a visible form of the elemental power of creative fire.
Well, they've got this amazing ability of, if you think about them breathing, look at that.
Yeah.
And it's represented all through our theology, our philosophy.
Yes. When Patrick connected with them, can you remember when Patrick connected with them, he said about we all have a guardian dragon that is with us all the time.
I believe that's true. Totally.
Yeah. Everybody has one, at least one.
What if
you like me, I'm greedy, I have about 6.
What if that literally is part of your soul? What if that is literally how you form your soul? Because I know it's a spark, and a spark is created by a fire. I wonder if that's how you get your soul created.
A dragon would be the true alchemist, right?
Well, and they give you an egg of creation, like a pearl. They create pearls of wisdom. I've seen that. Eggs, golden eggs and pearls. I've seen that. So I've always tried to understand, what does this mean? Why do I keep seeing this? And I think that's part of what it is. It's so hard to grasp these concepts and put them into words. But I do see that that's how the etherical, invisible light gets into the material, physical worlds. It's through the dragon.
As you're talking, I was just recalling in my mind in the book of Revelation, the four-headed beast that stands before the throne of this God. And those who have that gift of being able to form an idea and then to draw it, it always has the features of a dragon. You know, and you know, when you think about equine horses, to me, I know this is stretching it, but I could see an evolutionary trail of they at one time were part of this species. I mean, isn't the Pegasus the whole idea that a Pegasus, the horse flies, but yet if you saw a horse flying in the sky and a dragon, you know, there would be
similar.
Yeah.
I know that
absolutely.
we once had Pegasus in our realities, especially if you were alive during the galactic wars and the battles of the Valkyrie.
I call it the genetic wars because we have it all through the Roman mythology, Greek, Sumerian, half human, half animal. I think that this was the time when the geneticists were, and it's not just my theory. There's a lot been written on this, that there was a time when these beings, aliens, whatever they are, and that's what they do. And Earth, because there's not many planets like Earth, which make it very valuable, they ran wild for a while. And then it was, you know, someone used the expression hell on earth. I don't know. Maybe it was heaven on earth. I mean, I don't know. I mean, think about it. The mermaid.
I was just thinking the same thing, Wayne. Stop it.
Get out of my head, man.
I wonder if this is about the evolution from fire to water, because I think we're the fishes right now. So this evolution part is coming through the water. And I wonder when you break out of the water, you return back to the fire, the ether, and we're going into crown. This is a loop.
Very, very interesting.
Oh my God, get out of my head, Wayne.
You know, and you know, I know that what was it on the Discovery Channel a couple of years ago? It's been purported that the United States Navy has, and there's not just female mermaids, there's male.
Oh yeah.
And they have actually captured them, and according to this documentary, was experiment on them. You know, that's how we were made. We were an experiment. Some people say, "Oh no, we weren't." Well, okay, we came from an egg. No, well, we really did. The women carry the eggs, right?
Right. That's true.
and they say this is absolute fact. And they say that all of us, when we start out in our very, very beginnings, we're just like the animals. It's amazing.
You know, it's so funny. They say like one of the first things that develops on a fetus is the asshole. So at one time we were all just assholes.
And tails. There's still a lot of us that are still metamorphizing right back there, you know, coming, pucker up, sweet lips. But anyway, sorry. This is an adult show, you know, come on.
For real.
It's like having the cranium right up the rectum, you know. I don't know, you know, it's just the same thing.
It's profound. I'm like, we're made out of that. Oh my goodness gracious.
We are truly digressing, as they would say. We're definitely going backwards on that.
Yeah, well, it makes sense though with the whole system of entropy. It's all about forming, eating, and digesting. It's so crazy. In its simplest forms, it's such a big, profound truth of how we exist on this realm.
I about fell out of my chair. What was it? Yesterday? Yeah, 2 days ago. We were just switching through the channels, seeing what was on, and came on this PBF special, and they were using it from a position of global warming. And it was really interesting when I said that, when I was watching this, and they said, it's almost, and I quote, it's almost as if Earth is being terraformed. I did a show, what was it, 4 years ago, that Earth was being terraformed. I gave all the evidence. And now all of a sudden it's coming into the mainstream, program.
Wayne, that's great. That means people are waking up.
Yeah, it's interesting. Even though you can put it in a position of one particular point of view, it's still interesting that Earth is being terraformed.
Yes. But see, and then I just saw the most beautiful thing. Yeah, they're pushing one narrative, but now when people look that up, maybe your video will come up and they'll get a new perspective. And then they'll have more truth.
You think about it. What happened to the Neanderthals, the Cro-Magnons? They were here.
Yeah, and they eradicated as many as they could, but I still have a lot of Neanderthal in my genetics, which apparently is very rare.
Well, I can tell you after meeting you, I didn't see any of it. But anyway, it was fun. I have to tell you, folks, it was so good to see. Well, I had never even, it's odd because this is the only interaction that we have. It's a very one kind of portal, But anyway, and seeing you and Mary was just a delight. It was just so much fun.
Yes. Mary was so stoked too. She was like, we get to meet Wayne. I was like, I know, I can't even contain myself.
And some people say, is the dude really real? Yeah, it's true.
Yes, he is very real.
Yeah. Made them coffee and
Dancer, that cute little baby.
Dancer is a cutie. She's whatever she was in the past life, boy, she hit like the freaking jackpot. I mean, that dog has got everything, It's just, but it was a real delight. And I know you and Mary were heading out to the gathering with Grandpa Brian. And I understand that was and I, as I said before, next time we have it, I think more people will be able to come. I mean, I'll be certainly close enough.
It's interesting because it's 5. It's like the hand of God. It's like, I think everything starts with foundation. So I do. I think it'll get bigger and bigger. Right now, it's about making the connections, familiarity, and then formulating more of a structured plan so it can be a really cool experience. So yeah, I think this is level 1 of many more to come.
It was delight. Hello, Teresa. Good to see you. And it was. I mean, how much fun is that? When you actually meet physically, and we'll all do this. I know, Kaz, you live on the other side of the pond, and I think the day will come where we won't have all these restrictions, that we'll actually be able to travel and,
Because at the minute you've got to have, and I'm not up for that. So. So it was fun, and you got to see the oak trees, our property here.
It's magical energy.
It really is, folks. Yeah.
It feels like the water's running right underneath his property. And
boy, Mary certainly felt that. And
I did too.
I have to tell her this. So where we live, we're looking at the property on Sunday. And so we've met our neighbors who own the land right next to us. And as we were walking, we suddenly come upon this opening. So there is a natural creek that flows, but it goes underground on our property, and it goes right in that general area where she was at.
Holy moly.
So Mary, you got it, girl. I mean,
she's a walking water dowsing machine.
I mean, folks, she picked it up. In fact, I think I have the video of that, of where she was actually just standing in this area. And it was interesting. There's
right here.
Yeah, that's what she said. She says,
feel it right here. Yep.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're right. There's something moving.
Well, and there is, and it's interesting. And we see the wildlife attracted to that particular spot too.
Could you do a well?
Yeah. I mean, pardon?
A well. Could you make a well?
Oh, yes, we can. Yeah, we
brilliant.
Yeah, we're country out here, so
Wayne,
I'm still adapting to that.
Down like 30 feet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. So
Awesome.
Mary wins. You got it, girl. Yeah.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner, Mary.
Exactly. You know, let me do something here. Let me, no, hold on one second. Y'all just talk amongst yourself.
Yeah,
as I continue. I'm trying to do something here.
You know, I'm telling you, I think we're onto something with this dragon. It's so funny. Brian gave me these cards, and they are really powerful for me. And
Milky Way?
So yeah.
Or
no,
Grandpa Brian. Okay.
Brian. Yeah.
Okay.
And this is so funny. We're talking about the connection to the dragon and the serpent. And look at this card. It says our ancient future. And it looks like the Starbucks queen. It's a female goddess with the bottom half is a serpent, and she has angel wings, and she's sitting in the moon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't that powerful? I know that there's some seriously powerful truth with the dragons, how we got here, plasma turning into a focused light and carryable light. And I think the carrier of the light from etherical to material is crystalline. So when they talk about we are born of the dust of the earth and the dust of the stars, it's because those are little tiny pieces of crystals, and those crystals are fractals, but they hold the information of the whole.
Well, our blood is made of mostly of salt.
Yes, crystals.
That's crystalline. As Yoda would say, the force is strong with this group. But anyway, yeah. So I'm looking at the time over here, and it was like, okay, it's gone by just like that. So I was talking, we were amongst ourselves prior to going live. I kind of put the talking point today of friendship that transcends lifetimes. And we were talking that for myself, I don't know if it's more selective or if it's just cautious or whatever it is, but I'm cautious as to who I really let in as a friend. And it's kind of like when we met Trina and Mary, when she was here, there is this connection, and you realize that this is a familiar feeling, that this is not the first time to connect. And the thought occurred to me that, gee, what if, and I'm just saying, what if we have these friendships that we come into this realm for whatever reason? I truly can't think that reincarnation is real, but if there is a cycle that we don't make these friendships prior to this and saying, listen, I don't know how, and I don't know when, but we'll connect again. We'll connect. And this is the interesting conversation, because we say now we'll connect to the other side.
Yes.
But what if we had this conversation prior to coming in here? And I said to you, Trina, and to you, Kaz, listen, I will meet you on the other side.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's really such a strong. Yeah,
we know each other, and I think we can fight each other because we know.
It's like I've known you forever.
Yes,
it's weird. Yeah.
It's almost like there are certain laws that we know that we're going to be bound by, and one of those laws may be the fact that you can't carry into this cycle the longevity of the friendship, because it violates the rules. But somehow or another, we all, and I'm convinced of this, that we manage to connect.
You know what, Wayne? I was thinking about that deeply. And you know the difference? When we come into this construct, our consciousness is wiped. We get amnesia. But the thing that we can't wipe is we know the feeling.
Yes.
We feel each other. And you feel, when you know your soul family, you feel it instantly. You're like, I know you. There's no rational reason but you feel it. So I think that's the hidden language of spirit, is the feeling part, that intuition, that gut knowing. You're like, oh no, I know you. I don't know how, but I do. That's something that's profound. But I think it's a feeling. We don't need to know in our consciousness. We just need to know in our heart.
Now, the antithesis of that thought would be, we also have enemies.
Yes.
And it's interesting because there seem like there are just some people who come into this realm like they got a bone to pick, or they're looking for something or someone. Mm-hmm. And maybe this manifests in ways that when you meet someone, you can tell there's something not right here.
Yes.
Or you meet someone in the office who at first seems to be cordial, but very quickly you realize that this person, for whatever reason, seems to have it in for you.
Yeah.
I mean, it would appear that if you go by, the idea of in certain religions that you have angels and you have demons, right? And they're in constant. There was a trilogy of movies about Gabriel, and Christopher Walken's played in the first one. The second one, Dennis Quaid was in. And Gabriel and Michael, although they're the archangels, they're enemies in this. And then you have the imaginary character of Lucifer or Satan. Mm-hmm. So that would imply then that there are enemies that even transcend the physical realm of our reality.
And think about it, Wayne, that's the Cain and Abel, Inky and Lil.
Oh, yeah. Very good point.
Just told over and over and over and over and over again. Same story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even up to the highest, to the archangels. Yes. It's
so that's really, go ahead, Kaz.
No, I wasn't going to say anything. I'm listening.
To me, it implies that, we don't find out this type of knowledge until after you've been here a while. If I could have only apprehended this knowledge when I was 17, 18. Right.
Wayne, I think that's why we need to start working with the kids.
Oh, no doubt about it. Yeah.
And they're hungry for this knowledge. I'm telling you what, it's so crazy. My daughter brought friends home the other night, and it was funny. I woke up at 3:33 again. I'm sitting out back. Here they come strolling in the door at 4. And then we were up till 6:30 in the morning having spiritual discussions. And they were, they
love that.
They love it. They can't get enough of it. They can't.
Yeah. It just brings in so much that, because I grew up pretty unrestricted. I came in at the right time. And even though someone through my life, I had my life planned out. I mean, I knew exactly where I was supposed to be at that time, but someone came in and screwed it up. But what I got in exchange for that, I paid a price that was extracted on me, but I got to grow up in 1970 in the streets of Montrose in Houston, Texas, at the peak of the counterculture revolution. What the fuck? I mean, that is just so freaking far out. I mean, and I look back now at where I am on this journey, and I think, how fucking cool is that? I got to see the bands, man. And not only did I get to see, I worked for like 6 months with Concerts West. Yeah. I was a roadie carrying the equipment and the speakers. And what the rock stars didn't get, there was plenty of girls and drugs, sex, and rock and roll. It was far out, man. That's all I got to say.
That's right.
You wouldn't have that nowadays, would you?
You couldn't have. I mean, think whatever God you want, that the internet didn't exist.
No.
Because I mean, we got to grow up and there was no restrictions.
Yes.
There was no one tracking
privacy. And there was so much more that there was a sanctity still left. There was privacy still left. And we were still way more connected telepathically because we didn't have the instant gratification of the internet. or the telephone. You know, you had to wait to get home, to get to the wall, you know, so things are very different now.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, you're right. We could have never done what we did back then. Yeah.
Nope. We're too connected to the artificial cheaters now.
So sorry about, no, I'm not sorry. The F-bombs were quite appropriate because that word perfectly expressed, you know, the whole feeling. And, you know, it was not a paradise. I mean, the streets are the streets, but I was telling my wife this. I said, to live on the streets today compared to what it was back, you know, 50 years ago.
A lot different.
And it's really weird to say 50 years. I mean, what the freak is that about?
Right? How did that happen?
It's like, what happened here? You know,
I think we need to reach out.
It just, it's gone. And I went, oh,
I know.
Man.
I was 49 last week, and I was like, oh, not 49.
Yeah, you do not look 49, my dear.
No.
By the way, did y'all see that study? I think it was a Harvard and John Hopkins. They did a study that they say that today we, as you age, are actually look younger than your parents and your grandparents and
great-grandparents. That too. That's really weird. I have noticed that. Because
People
I remember when my mom was 52, she looked a lot different than I do.
Well, you look at it, my wife and I like Patsy Cline, and, you know, Patsy left, she died at 30 years old. But if you look at Patsy Cline, you would age her much more than the 30 that she was.
Right.
And then Kaz, I look at you and there's no way, because to me, you still have a look of a woman, and I'll just lay this out there, just be candid with you, in your early 30s.
Yeah. She does.
I love you.
Checks in the mail. But it's so true. I mean, you look at this, and so Lynn and I started, she has much older pictures and of her family that go back, and it's true. I mean, she has pictures of her parents in their 30s, but they look like they're already in their mid 50s.
Yeah, they dressed different. They wore their hair different. It was like the culture was telling them they were way older than they were, and they manifested that.
Yeah. It's and they say it's because today we have a better understanding of our bodies. You know, back in the 40s and the 50s, doctors recommended pregnant women smoke.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you look at this, you go, what? But everybody coming, particularly out of World War II, smoked. I mean, it was socially acceptable. In fact, if you didn't smoke, you were kind of looked at.
Odd man out.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I love the scene in The Day the Earth Stood Still, the original version, where the doctor comes in and says, here, you want a cigarette? And I'm going, you know, this is where we've advanced.
Yeah.
And speaking of smoking, you know, I moved from Colorado to here, and out in Colorado, people just don't smoke. I mean, you don't see it. But here, it's like, it's so odd, because it was kind of a shock. I said, are they really smoking? But anyway, I digress. But
Wayne, the first time I went to Tennessee, they were smoking in the grocery store. I thought we were going to get in trouble. And my girlfriend, me, Melanie, she goes, no, that's normal here. I'm like, you smoke at the grocery store? I was like, wow. Yeah.
And I think, who was it? Scotty Boy was talking about a pack of Luckies. And you think about the name of the cigarettes. You had Lucky Strikes. You had, I mean, Camel. You know, you had the filter, non-filter. Bugle Boy, I think, was the primary tobacco that they rolled, and it's a complete different reality today.
Yeah,
I mean, today people are rolling the same papers, but today it's marijuana.
Absolutely.
You know? Yeah. I mean,
you know how much I paid for some tobacco last week?
I'm curious. How much did you pay for tobacco?
£30 for 50
Holy
grams.
crap!
I know. And it was nearly all twigs. I was so annoyed. And this is from a normal shop, right? It's not from a mate down the road that I've got it cheap. It was from a legit place, and it's called Amberleaf. And I opened it up, and it was, because I roll my own.
Yeah.
And it was £30. I've never paid that in my life. I normally get it cheap from a mate down the road, which is about £18 for 50 grams, but they hadn't got any. And even though I went to the legit shop, I was so pissed off because it was full of like sharp twigs.
Right.
Twigs.
That you can't even roll.
Yeah.
And I thought, how can I even take this back and complain? Because you can't. Once it's open, can you? You can't.
Right.
Because they'll say, well, you've put them in yourself. And I was gutted because it was like £30 worth of twigs.
Jeez. I quit drinking coffee because, I used to smoke, but I really enjoyed coffee and a cigarette. It was just, of course, that was some 40 years ago, but yeah, I mean, and there was nothing like going to the bar and drinking beer and smoking cigarettes. I mean, everybody did it. It
seems like they go together because it's your program. You were trained that way. Yeah.
I am Nancy says Winston and Cools. And it's really interesting. In my career, I worked in NASCAR. And one of our clients was, in fact, Winston, because they were a huge financial advertiser in NASCAR. Yeah. And you go to Winston-Salem in North Carolina, they were the biggest thing that was there. Yep. So anyway, it's strange to see it, how it's
interesting
changed.
Too, skull, the skull of the chewing tobacco. That was another huge NASCAR promoter.
Yeah.
They did a lot of advertising there. Now what do we see? Now it's Red Bull, all the monsters, the energy drinks. So
there you go.
Yeah, they've taken away the tobacco as a stimulant. Now they're pushing the drinks, the energy drinks.
Kaz Dairy Berry says, give him a shout out. I can get 50 G for 5 pounds, 50 grams, I guess, for 5 pounds.
David, I'm going to have to email you.
Big hug coming to you, David. That's all I got to say, buddy.
Help each other out.
And it's not full of twigs, is it, David?
I was just thinking, if someone wrote,
light my open fire with this stuff. You know what I mean? It's kindling.
That's some rough stuff, man. I'm going to tell you. Someone said, the Marlboro Man. I mean, remember him? Yeah. I mean, I can remember those commercials because, the dude, man, he was like, that's what a man is, manly man.
He's a cowboy.
Baby? Yeah, cowboy, exactly. Yeah.
My girlfriend actually won a trip to the Marlboro Ranch, and they paid for everything, airfare, limousine pickup. She took her mom with her. It was an amazing trip.
Oh,
yeah.
I make a prediction, and this is just my prediction. Because it's already 30 states now. There's enough if ever a constitutional convention happens. But see, I think cannabis is going to replace tobacco.
I think it already has.
I think you are correct. Statistically, it would say that, wouldn't it?
So, yeah, I really do. I think a lot of people quit smoking, and if they want to have a smoke, they now smoke cannabis.
And, that's the one thing in my life. Cannabis is... Vape. Always been a part of my life.
Is that big there, Wayne?
Huh?
Vaping, is that big in America?
Not as big as you would think.
It is here.
Is it vaping? Vaping is.
I see it a lot more with the kids. So, but a lot of adults do it too because they vape because it doesn't stink, and so I see a lot of people have transferred over to the vape.
Okay, right. To each his own.
They hurt my lungs, so I've never done those.
But I can't get on with them. No.
They use a vitamin E extract in some of that, and it's someone said Virginia Slims. Yes, that was.
You remember those and Moors? Remember the long brown ones, Moors?
Yeah.
How many of you remember the clove cigarettes.
Oh, I do.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So good.
Yeah, they really did. I mean, it was like, okay, this is kind of, but I knew a beautiful individual who smoked them, and so, but I still said.
They told us after we'd been smoking them like 2 or 3 years, like, be careful with clove cigarettes, they make your lungs bleed. We were like, nice.
Thank you. Thank you for telling us now.
Like,
It's like, okay.
Yeah.
But I still say humans like to smoke. It's weird.
I mean, so too.
I do enjoy my cigarette. One after dinner.
What if it's part of our dragon? What if it's because we're dragons and we smoke?
Yeah, we're dragons, aren't we?
We're dragons.
Yeah. And by the way, I don't recommend nor in any way,
picking up smoking if you don't.
Yeah, don't do that shit. I mean, we know that, it has repercussions, but then again, the culture is changing so much.
I smoked since I was 11. Yeah.
Okay. See? Yeah. And my view on cannabis is, it should have never been illegal. In fact, it was the crime cabals that were running the United States government at the time when they made the stupid thing about prohibition, but that was done on purpose, that it was to villainize this industry. Because what happened, you had the distillers and the tobacco growers, which was huge in the South. They came together to conspire against this thing that back in the day was known as hemp.
Yeah, marijuana. And I think that was because they started pushing the cotton too. So they got rid of all the hemp because you can't compare hemp.
They put out Reefer Madness. How many of us remember that one?
That.
It's a funny movie. I mean, it's not. It's really real because that was a government propaganda film.
I think too, Wayne. Don't you think getting rid of the hemp and the cannabis too also went to, it made us have to go to a lot of different medications because it handled a lot of them. And
if it wasn't for hemp, it would have seriously impaired our ability to win the war, second war.
Yeah,
I mean, hemp was in the rope, the clothing. It's so versatile as a plant.
Amazing.
Everything.
Yeah. I mean, burlap bags were made out of hemp.
The food bags, all
and they're so strong.
Yeah.
Everything. Yeah.
As Lee says, know your dope friend. Listen, back in the day, I was they crossed the Rio Grande River. So it's still illegal in Texas, come to think about it.
It is.
Yeah. I think they're one of the holdouts here,
Yeah.
What's wrong with you folks in Texas? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I digress. What is it in the UK? Is cannabis legal or not?
You can get classed as personal. If you get caught with it, you can be classed as personal use.
Mm-hmm.
You're allowed so many plants that you can have, that you can class as personal. If you get busted, I think it's 3 or 4.
Do they have retail locations like dispensaries?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, we do here.
No.
Yeah. In Colorado, here in Missouri, it's medical marijuana that is, allowed. And, the thing in Colorado, I think on this ballot, they're actually going to be voting on legalizing psilocybin mushrooms.
Yeah.
Oh, it's mushroom season. And I went out today and they're just starting to come out.
Oh, really? Yes. Yeah. It's a little bit chilly. So it's not allowed in the UK. That's interesting.
It's not legalized yet.
Yeah. Well, technically in the United States, the federal government still says that, on the books that cannabis is still class 1 narcotic.
Yeah. If the police caught you, unless they've got something to really do with that's worth arresting you for, then they turn a blind eye. Most will. Yeah.
Brian says, I snuck a nickel bag in the UK back in 1979 when I visited London. Were you nervous, Brian? 1958. He said, I can relate to that, my friend. But were you? I am Nancy says, I'm in Southwest Missouri. Yeah. So it's interesting because In Kansas, it's legal, and in Illinois, it's legal.
Wow.
So Missouri is kind of like in between these two states. And say what you will about it, but when we were residents of Colorado, because of the cannabis coming from other states, people coming into Colorado and, with the tourism industry, it allowed every tax-paying citizen got a $750 rebate this year. That's a good thing. I mean, if
it really does support the economy in ways people can't even. I think it's one of the biggest industries now in Arizona. It's huge.
It's becoming, I think, like the fifth largest employer in Colorado.
Yeah, it is here too.
Who'd have ever thought?
A huge industry here. Between the farming and between the production, then they have the medical testing, because it all has to be tested before it goes up. There is a
lot of regulation on it. Yeah.
Yes. And
Brian, 1958, I have to inject this, Trina. He says, not at all. I had it tucked away in a right place. Already get that? Get it. Yeah. By the way, have you seen this commercial that is basically deodorant for your rectum? I kid you not.
That's new to me.
No. Go on the internet and look at it. I mean, there is this commercial, the woman who is a former doctor and the CEO of this company, and she says it's no stink where in the places you don't want. And I'm going, we have truly advanced beyond.
In the US, you do have some stuff.
It's crazy. Trina's like, Trina, it's for real. You have to go look at this commercial.
I'm just having the flashbacks of having to explain to my 3-year-old what erectile dysfunction was when it kept being played on the radio station. So I'm like, now y'all got to go through the whole anal deodorant situation.
Yes. I mean,
I'm feeling for you, ladies. I'm feeling for you.
In all my life, I don't think that ever became a problem. Flatulence, that's a different thing. But I'm just going.
That's right. Yeah. Is it that much of a problem that they've had to design?
Sometimes you almost have to be stoned to really handle some of this stuff. You're going,
right? Absolutely.
Really?
Like, I can't even process
really
the real world.
Well, what happened here? When did this start happening? I mean, when did it become such a problem that that many people would?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Mary, who is that? Kirk Plain says butt mints.
Butt mints.
That is bizarre.
Oh, come on. Now that's just funny. That's just funny.
It's like the potpourri or whatever.
Oh man, now come on. That just that makes you well, they say if you don't laugh at least one time, I mean, in the day, then you missed the whole day.
Yeah, Mary's rolling too.
I'm just picturing the packaging of that, that was, I was marketing and sales. And so I'm trying to, if in other words, I'm working for a company and our new product is called butt mints, right? And I have to design the packaging for these new butt mints.
Right.
I mean, once you get the basic idea, nailed down, then, you look at all the continuity that you have to do with this. I mean, how would you sell butt mints? But they're doing it.
Right. Oh my goodness.
This is just too funny.
Yeah. We've officially lost it.
Okay. Y'all have something you want to add to this? Oh my goodness.
I'm still laughing about this. I can't believe it. I'm like, and all this stuff is on the commercials, Wade. What are these poor children? I mean, my gosh, they're getting educated on all kinds of crap that they do not have any business knowing about when they're 3. No. And
that's a scene in itself. Crazy. How does a 3-year-old, what does a mother say to a 3-year-old who's watched this? I mean,
how do you
yeah, exactly. How do you
forget where do babies come from? That's nothing compared to explain ED. I mean, really, come on. Oh my God.
Would not even know how to begin to go.
It's tough. It was really tough. I was
okay.
I don't even know what to do with this right now.
Gilbert says, don't mix up with the Tootsie Rolls.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, come on, you guys, you got to stop this nonsense. I mean, seriously.
You know, that's just going to go down a shitty path.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Woo. Okay. Boy, oh boy,
all right.
oh boy.
All right. New subject. Check this out. Radical expansion. Look again. Dragons.
Wow. That's awesome.
Well, if they watch this show, they're having a good laugh. That's for sure. I mean, Come on. I mean, oh my goodness. Group. If y'all hadn't tuned in today, normally there's not much more people, but they missed a good one. That's all I got to say. This is some of the
Wayne.
What
evolution, and it shows a mermaid changing through DNA.
Yes, look at that. How now those were from Grandpa Brian. Those are beautiful cards. Yeah.
He said that they just really didn't resonate with him. And I was like, oh, I was instantly drawn to them. And oh yeah, they fly out.
Well, tell us about the gathering. I know it was small before we run out of time here. I mean, you met Grandpa Brian.
Oh my gosh.
David Castle was there.
Yep. It was me, David Castle, Grandpa Brian, and Mary. And it was just the 5 of us. And it was wonderful. And then we got to see you. So that makes the six people that came together in different ways.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was profound. His ranch is, oh my gosh, it's stunning. It's so beautiful.
It's beautiful. I mean, it's a beautiful piece of property.
To do the gatherings. It really is the perfect place.
I mean, we could do a mini Woodstock there, that's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, Wayne, it's so beautiful. It's magical. It really is. It's the perfect environment for what we kind of want to do to get together and do healing and spiritual stuff. You couldn't have a better place to go. And like you said, getting to know you guys with the physical part of us instead of just the screen to screen, man, that's worth its weight in gold and silver and sparkly ether to put on top like a cherry. It's worth it. So
it was a very special time. Yeah, and I got to tell you, I don't know how you did that. You covered 4,000 miles.
Yeah.
In like what, 6 days?
Oh yeah. Yep. Wow. Yeah.
That makes my ass sore just thinking about it. I mean, that's a little
sore just thinking about it.
I mean,
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll definitely. I do believe the next time that, we put a gathering together, I believe it's going to be much more well attended.
I know it will be. But I think, like I said, we need to get a foundation built. And this was the foundational meeting.
I just want to throw this out. And I know, Grandpa Brian, you listen. So last night, we're making our plans for April 8th, 2024. What's April 8th, 2024, you're saying? Well, it's the direct path of the totality of the solar eclipse. And for us, it's only 60 miles away. But it's interesting as well that, I looked on the map and I believe it goes right over Grandpa Brian's property as well.
Yep.
So we need to start thinking about this. I mean, I think I saw the last one.
Wayne, that's going to be at my birthday, the week before my birthday.
It's very significant. And
my sister's birthday.
You're going to read more and more about this, folks, because for the United States, because the first one that in 2017 went this way, this one is doing this way. So it's putting an X on the United States. And what makes it even more stranger is that when you go back and you look at this, for a country to be in the direct path of totality in such the manner that the United States is, you're going to read more about this. This is significant.
I just saw the ruin, the X. I'm like, I think this is This is actually going to be a really good thing for us. It's partnerships is the X in the ruins. It's partnership. I literally saw this is when the divine feminine activates and takes full power.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I know that for myself, I've gotten that urge on in my spirit being that I will be there. And, the last one that happened when we were up in Wyoming, I captured that portal opening up, and that was just one of the most bizarre things I have ever experienced.
That was one of the coolest eclipse pictures I saw that hit the net on that, Wayne. That was freaking crazy shit. I don't know how you did that.
I don't know either.
Insanity. You saw the prisms.
Yeah,
the crystals.
You
saw the crystals. Oh my gosh, I don't know how you did that.
It raises the hair on my back of my neck and my arms every time I think about it, because it was powerful.
Oh my gosh, I'd never seen pictures like that in my life. I was like, I was stunned.
Lynn was right there, and she said, and Shannon, my stepdaughter, was there as well. And, it was like, we didn't see that. So,
but you captured it.
I didn't see it either, but anyway, yeah.
Wayne, that was amazing. That, like I said, that was one of the neatest pictures. There was another one where somebody caught a chemtrail going through a crescent moon with the eclipse, and it looked like a sword. Oh, it was amazing.
That's cool
one too. But your picture, it was the top of all the cool ones I saw was those prism pyramids opening up underneath that eclipse was mind-blowing.
Folks, this would be an excellent time for this group to try to get to making plans. I mean, you really, if you've never seen the totality of an eclipse, it's worth it. It's look at that. Yeah.
Partnership gift.
How interesting. Wow. Yeah,
very beautiful what it says. This rune is an indication that partnership at some form is at hand in love relationships, business, partnering of every kind. You are put on notice not to collapse yourself into the union, for true partnership is achieved only by separate and whole beings who retain their separateness even as they unite. Isn't that profound?
Woof, what a way to end the show. Yeah. That's all I got to say.
Let the winds dance between you.
Yeah. Well, Kaz, it's been great, girl. I hope it was fun for you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
We love you, Kaz.
That's when you really want to, after you've had that stimulating time, that's when a cigarette really works, right? That's all I got to say. And I'm saying any more on that. And Miss Trina, now that you and I have met one another in person and what have you, it's always a delight, my dear.
Yes, now when I hug you energetically, I get to feel the real one with it. It's even better.
It was fun. I got to tell you, folks, it was just a gift. Yes, that's what Mary Wynn says. Go inside for truth. That's what we talk about.
Right on, Mary.
Yeah, Mary knows how to say it.
Mary knows.
Yes. S. Lee said, I was born during the total solar eclipse, February 6th, 1979. Wow. Kind of like Mark Twain with Halley's Comet. Samuel Clemens, let me just say it that way. All right, Trina, I'll see you next week.
Yes.
All right, everybody. Thank you for hitting the like button. Make sure to hit, and Kaz, I'll get you, didn't even think about putting your link in there, but check Kaz's channel out. And of course, you have Trina's in there. So, all right. Much love, everybody. Hello, Blanca. Good to see you, my dear. How's everything up in the Windy City? And so everyone, Lisa, good to see you as well. And everyone, if I didn't say hello, how are you? Good to see you. We love you. We hope you come back. We speak favor over you. So go out and live it up. That's all I got to say. Kaz, you keep safe, hon. Everyone, we'll see you tomorrow. Got a good one for tomorrow. All right, folks.
See later.